Well, Indiana University East in Richmond is going high-tech. The campus recently opened a virtual reality lab that has become quite popular with students, faculty, and staff. VR helping students not only get excited about technology, but also learn how to use it as well. In our Eye on Education segment this week, Professor and Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship and Center for Economic Education at IU East, Tim Scales, is here to explain his vision for more hands-on learning to engage students. And Tim, as always, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Virtual reality, it's all the rage these days. As we were talking off camera, you said this really started on the campus with students introducing it to you, in a sense, right?
Correct. I was in conversation with them and they asked me about my experience with VR, and I really didn't have any. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to reach out and get a small grant and bring a unit to campus to start doing a little bit of research, finding out what it is. Mm-hmm. So when I brought the first unit to my office for the research purposes, students would come in, they would show me how to use it and show me its purpose.
Yeah, and while we're looking at some of the video now of students engaging in some of the virtual reality with the headsets, because you have, this is advanced, there are 10 units, I think, so you actually have a lab, a virtual reality lab on campus. Talk about what goes on in there.
Sure, so a variety of things. We have some students that may be between classes will come and utilize the lab. At other times, like last week, we had a team, our soccer team, came in and used it as a team building. Mm-hmm. And so they work with each other and help each other, and then we can even make it competition. Mm-hmm. Because one unit can play against the other. And we do have 10 units in there, so now pretty much we'll have 20 students in there at a time helping each other and showing each other around, and it's really a great way to engage the students.
Well, you talk about competition, and there's a ping pong story as well using 3D printing, so another technology where students are getting hands-on experience in this realm is ping pong.
That's correct. In the Center for Entrepreneurship, we have a 3D printer as well as a wood carving, which takes 3D design and carves it out of wood. And a couple of years ago when we brought that in, I asked students to think about ping pong paddles. Could we make those? And they said, of course, but they didn't. Now, in January, I brought an intern in from the high school, and he's in my office each day, Jake Miller, and what Jake did was he said, Tim, I want to do this. Mm-hmm. So he created the design and started carving them out, and he's made all these ping pong paddles, but he makes them out of triangles, squares, as well as circles. Yeah. And he created a ping pong tournament. We had 10 players, and to be honest with you, Jake was probably the 5th ranked, but he won the tournament. He won
because he probably worked at it, probably practiced a little
bit. He practiced, exactly.
Gotcha. We'll also touch on a stock market simulation that is very popular there too.
Oh, I so enjoy that simulation because we started in 2013, and at that time I was noticing a lot of students would come in and they would share stories, but they really weren't productive. And I got students to start talking about business. They would come in and ask about businesses, what I thought about business. I'd have them research the business and tell me, is it a good investment or not, and why? And now they go and they invest in the simulation, and they can find out exactly if they had it right or not.
Yeah, and one other aspect using technology, and that's in TV, what's so-called green screen technology, right? You have a business show that's been on the air for a long time, 13 years.
That's correct.
And utilize that kind of technology we're looking at on screen right now.
That's correct. What we do is we start with a green screen and we bring people to the studio, and it doesn't really look nice at all. And we sit there and we interview, and then we come out of the studio, we have a beautiful stage. We're sitting on a nice set, and it's really fun. We've had a lot of people in the community now ask if they can come out and get their photo on set. And it's a great way to just kind of,
do you see this, as we wrap up, do you see this advancing in terms of technology, whether it's VR or other new technologies really growing on campus?
It is, and I can tell you, even in the research side for professors, like the Academy of Business Research now has gotten very involved with some of the VR stuff that I bring, and so even for the research as well as the student development.
Very good. Tim Scales, professor at Indiana University East, really engaging students from a technology standpoint. Tim, great story. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.